number 9, Glenn Johnston in the 23D car. Big welcome to Glenn and his team from Dunedin. And Neil Carey in the 32 car will start from grid number 10.
Well, I don't know how they let Coxie off the front there. He's going to be awfully hard to beat. And no Courtney Jones tonight, AJ. That's a real shame. She went very, very well last week, and we expected her to have a good showing here at the Canterbury Championships. But Coxie off the front there, he's going to be very difficult to stop.
Yeah, I would say Courtney's probably down in Cromwell for tonight's South Island Sprint Car Championship. With
Caleb, of course.
With her partner Caleb,
yep.
Bourne, the Sasquatch, one of the favourites down there at Cromwell. So if we do get any reports, we'll certainly pass that information on to you. And if you're tuning in from anywhere around the world on RJP TV, a big welcome here to the Racecourse Hotel and Motor Lodge, Ruapuna Speedway. It has been the home of horsepower since 1962, the second oldest club speedway track in New Zealand behind Kiki, the 4th oldest track in New Zealand. Yeah, we've got plenty of history here, and New Zealand Sprint Car Championship is going to be one to absolutely look forward to at Waitangi weekend. That's the first weekend in February. It's a Saturday-Sunday show. Of course, Monday is a public holiday here in New Zealand, so if you tuned in from around the country, book those airfares now. It's going to be a ripper of a weekend.
Yeah, we expect the stadium to be absolutely jam-packed, and this hotshot Californian wants to come and take all the silverware from New Zealand. There's a couple of Americans that have done it in the past, so he wants to be the next Buddy Coforward. A lot of people saying he could be the next Buddy Coforward, so Joel Myers Jr. got a lot to prove to us here tonight as he takes on preparation for his sprint car title later in the year.
Yeah, boy, he couldn't have chosen a nicer part of New Zealand to be tied up, and he'll be staying down in Te Anau with Daniel Anderson. and
like a postcard.
Oh, for the Americans, if you're tuned in, look for Te Anau, T-E-A-N-A-U. It is just stunning. It's one of the most beautiful spots in the world. Daniel runs the ranch bar and grill down there. Here we go. Time to go racing. Modified sprints there. First race of the evening. Heat 1, Canterbury Championship. And it's going to be no show without punch. It's Craig Cox. Hammer down in the 5 car. Leading them down the back chute past the value cars. Warehouse, Grandstand. And Coxie's going to get the first lap in the books. Behind him is the 46 car of Cameron McKenzie. All fire and brimstone as McKenzie settled down very well into this class after running TQs for a number of seasons, and write him off at your peril. We've got Shane Cornelius trying the wall of death down there at the stadium finance corner, and yeah, certainly he's crunched up the front end of that car.
Yes, no, Shane will need a hook truck for that. There's no doubt about that at all. Shane hit that fairly hard, didn't see, hit straight in front of me. He seems okay from here, but the boys will check him out. But certainly will need to be lifted from the track, is Shane.
Yeah, keep well back from the safety fence down there, Warwick.
Well, I tell you what, folks, that was a frightening moment for the 92 car, and he actually hit that wall full bore. It almost looked like his accelerator jammed on, and as we've seen, he was wall riding for 2 or 3 posts there. So hopefully everything's okay with Shane Cornelius and that modified sprint.
Yeah, did you get a view of that, Warwick? Because it did happen right there in front of you. As Craig said, it's almost as though the throttle jammed.
Yeah, something went away there because he went straight into the wall just about where I'm standing. So,
Yep, the dry cleaner's going to know what that one was like. Craig Cox, no doubt about our race leader. It's hammered down from Coxie. Really impressed, Craig, with Cameron McKenzie. You know, in the TQs, he always put up an honest effort, but I think he's found his place.
Yeah, he's going to be a real foil for Craig Cox, and if he can get a break at the start here, he's got a chance of holding out the 5C, but we know Coxie just holds his foot into it so long and so deep into the corners that it's very hard to compete against him. Coxie was a quad bike New Zealand champion, so no fear in that fella. And of course, it's the Invercargill flyer, Jaden Fraser, just in behind there. He'll be ready to mop up any mess if anyone makes a mistake.
Yeah, and also in there, Liam Astle. He was my pick for the Canterbury Championship, and for our international audience, Liam's father, Nathan, was a world-class cricketer. So cricket doesn't really have a big following up there in the USA, but it would kind of be like being the son of a Major League Baseball player.
Yep.
And Nathan was a very good Speedway racer as well, exceedingly talented cricketer, played numerous test matches all around the world for New Zealand, and his boy, he's a chip off the block. Boy, they're competitive, aren't they? Jaden Fraser, the 36 car from Invercargill, always puts up a good showing. And Clayton Phillips made his return to Speedway last Saturday night after a bit of a layoff. He had quite an accident out at Ellesmere a couple of 3 years ago, and he's sort of been waiting until he felt as though the body was right. Wonder if that means that Ben Gilmore may not have a drive for the Clay Cup later this year.
Yeah, Benny Gilmore, 6 times Clay Cup champion, and Clayton might decide to race that car himself. But
so he should.
So he should.
Radio, the field are set. Modified sprint action. 4th race on the card here. Racecourse Hotel and Motor Lodge, Ruapuna Speedway. Rather pedestrian start. They can the pole sitter can choose to go whenever he wants to, or should I say the guy who was leading, that was Coxey. And he's certainly stretching the legs of the import specialist's car down the back straight. Mackenzie in second, 36 Jaden Fraser in third. Then we go back to Liam Astle. Harry McIntyre in the red and black 47 sitting there in that 5th position right now. And in 6th we've got the 14 car of Clayton Phillips. But Coxey starting to roll out some very, very tidy laps. He will be very hard to pull back. Yellow lights on. We've got one around.
Yeah,
it's
Neil.
the 32 car of Neil Carey.
Yeah, Neil Carey just spun around there. Hasn't been able to move himself as yet.
These
he's
cars, boy, they're pocket rockets, aren't they, Warwick? They don't have an accelerator. They've got a detonator.
No, when their foot's down, it stays down most of the way. And that's the way they have to be driven. They haven't got any extra horsepower, but like the TQs, if they put themselves sideways, they just scrub off too much momentum. So they've got to keep the revs up, and those little motors respond very well.
Yeah, spare of thought for Neil Carey, 32C. It's just his 2nd meeting in a modified sprint, and if you get yourself behind one of these things, they just scream and scream and scream, and they certainly put the frighteners up you. And hopefully he can carry on and find his confidence again. But watching the field now, it's going to be Mackenzie and Cox fighting out for the Turn 1 honours.
Old habits die hard. We're doing another lap. Harry McIntyre is on the inside of that row. He did cross the line in 5th with Clayton Phillips 6th, so Clayton does need to move over and give him a little bit of a wide berth. There we go. Green flag should fly this time around. Sheep stations aren't at stake, but the Canterbury Championship is brought to us tonight by Veggies Direct. And it looks like we will hold our collective breath for another 30-odd seconds while they get this sorted out. The officials are in contact with the drivers. It is one-way communication, just as well for that sometimes.
Well, I tell you what, Cameron McKenzie's trying to work out his only move in the first corner. He knows that Coxey's got a fast engine in that thing. He might even try and jump him on the start, but let's see how the restart goes here. But I expect Coxey to go straight to the front, foot up it, and into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's going to hit the line. He's gone already. There you go. He can pick and choose whenever he wants to pick up the throttle. Mackenzie had no answer for that one. Big battle royal starting to develop there for 3rd and 4th between Astle and Jaden Fraser. The 34 car being driven by Brett Booth, starting to make some moves in the night. Harry McIntyre's just lost a wing side. That'll bring the yellow on again. Let's hope that we can get them lined up a little quicker this time, please.
Well, that was a big moment. Harry McIntyre's wing destroying itself going into the corner. You can just imagine how much pressure's going on with the turn in there, and that was pretty spectacular, if nothing else. I'm not sure if Harry's going to continue, but that car will certainly change its handling characteristics. So looks like he's going to continue, and let's see how the 47 car goes.
Yeah, it's going to handle like a garden gate with one hinge.
Yeah,
and once again, we wait for the yellow light to go out. They're going to try and, you know, like the officials can tell Harry McIntyre if he's got his ears turned on.
Yeah, well, it's certainly changed the appearance of the car anyway with that that wing gone.
Well, it's unique, and that's what we were talking about on Methanol Madness the other night, Warwick. We've got a unique car here.
Just checking those stays and bits and pieces to make sure nothing else is going to fly off, I would imagine. But yeah, while that happens, time ticks on.
Yeah, it does.
Well, just a reminder, the cars are 1000cc GSXR motorcycle engines, and they're actually a fairly affordable sort of a motor to buy these things. Having said that, Craig Coxey just spent over $15,000 on his last engine, so he got the last 2017 GSXR out of Australia that was available, and that is the latest engine you can race in the modified sprints. You can have a engine as long as it's not under 5 years old. So of course each year that we progress, you can go up and up and up in the engines, and that might be a lesson there for the TQs. AJ, we know there's some real problems with the TQs getting motors for theirs. They're restricted to a 2005 GSXR water-cooled engine. But Harry McIntyre, good to see he's going to give it a go, and let's see how it goes on the first lap.
Yeah, still 7 laps to go. Modified sprint marathon, this one. It's Craig Cox leading the way. Racetrack just starting to seal over a little down on that bottom run. We'll see a few of them starting to run a little bit up on the high line, get some moisture up there, and she's going to be an absolute doozy. So it is Craig Cox leading the way. Here comes Jaden Fraser. Write this guy off at your peril in the black and white 36 machine. Makes a big charge around the top, round the outside of Mackenzie. Mackenzie's fighting hard down low. Mackenzie has just been chewed up by Fraser. It's all about momentum. Now here's the big duel coming up, because you see Cox, he's got a little bit of a handling issue as he goes into the corners. So the handling has gone off in that machine, pushing the front end a little. Fraser will be smelling blood. The Southland Sharks sitting there in that second spot. Mackenzie coming back for another go at him in the black and blue, number 46. But it's our race leader, Craig Cox, who is still running the cut. Oh, Fraser gets way out, high, wide, and not so handsome. Had to get off the throttle as he went into Harry McIntyre, just turned it around, manages to sort of keep the car going, and will do just to pick up a few points. Last lap, modified sprints, first race of the evening, and Craig Cox is going to take this one. But Fraser has another lunge around the top, and he's got the momentum. Jaden Fraser, good drive by him. He's going to take second spot. Cameron Mackenzie in third, then in fourth spot we go to Liam Astle. Well, Coxey, boy, he was fighting that car hard, Craig.
Absolutely, and Craig Cox 14.84 seconds, but the drive of the race was really our Invercargill flyer, Jaden Fraser. We could see he was holding his foot up it. He got so wide, he committed to holding his foot down and rode the wall and put an absolutely miracle pass on Cameron Mackenzie on the last lap to hold on to second. So that'll help him out later when it comes to the feature. But as you say, Coxey was driving as well as ever, and good to see Craig Cox winning the first race here at Ruapuna tonight.
Allens at $1.99 a kg. Lots of other fruit there too, so you want to live a good healthy diet, duck in and see the team at Veggies Direct. Here we go. Starter's got the green flag poised. We are gonna go green in heat number 2 for the modified sprints. Glenn Johnson from the Dunedin area. He is the first cab off the rank, and he leads him down the back straight. 34, Brett Booth, going about his business, sitting there in that second spot, and Harry McIntyre, car number 47, in third. He'll be hoping that the Pop Rivets hold the top wing together this time around, because here comes Coxie, and Jaden Fraser gets right into the slipstream being created there by Craig Cox. So Cox in 4th, Fraser in 5th, 2 of the red hot chili peppers for this race here. But Johnson, boy, he is showing some real wick at the front of the field. Brett Booth is no slug, and Boothie is throwing everything at him that he can in the KH fabrication machine. But Johnson, cometh the hour, cometh the man, and he is very, very quickly establishing a solid lead at the front of the field. Booth in 2nd, Cox up into 3rd, Harry McIntyre in 4th. So Fraser, he's got to go around the outside of McIntyre. Harry goes up high, cuts down low. This is going to be a good old battle here for 4th and 5th place. After a quiet first season last year for Harry McIntyre, he has really come of age. The laps, they do count down very quickly with the modified sprints. And it's Glenn Johnson. Be 3 laps to go next time across the NPD 100% fuel start finish line. Booth in 2nd, Cox in 3rd. McIntyre's just drifted off the pace just a little. And it'll be white flag out next time around. Boothie coming on with a late surge. He's closing that gap onto the tail of Glenn Johnson. Is he close enough to apply some pressure? Less than a car length between them as they went past the Stadium Finance Hospitality area. Down they go through Stadium Finance corner. Johnson goes wide. Booth has a look at him. He's not close enough to make anything happen. It's going to be Johnson, Booth, Cox, McIntyre and Fraser rounding out the top 5. And that's a real confidence booster for Glenn Johnston from Dunedin. They got a good wee field of these modified sprints down there. And he showed them that time, Craig.
Yeah, congratulations to you, Glenn Johnson, the sole representative of Dunedin, and you held out the very fast finishing Brett Booth and Craig Cox. A good lap time for you, 14.94 seconds. And Coxie was the fastest lap at 14.8, but congratulations, Glenn. You take out the second heat of the modified sprints.
Apparently, that Caleb
Who does?
So Courtney's at a must-attend work function tonight. So,
good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
So, yeah.
I phone in sick for those ones. There's a couple of people here that would understand that. Hey, woo.
I don't see the 46 Mackenzie car out there either, boys.
Here we go, we've gone green. Big old drag race going on for turn number 1. It's Craig Cox. Got his nose in front, Glenn Johnson. The 23D car from Dunedin sitting there in 2nd. Oh boy, they're rounding up on him, aren't they? Here comes Brett Booth. Bit of a Hail Mary move underneath. Boothie moves up into 2nd. That shuffles Johnson back into 3rd. Johnson's night could get a little bit worse because here comes Jaden Fraser from Invercargill in the 36i car. The two Southerners having close encounters of the dirt kind there in front of the Stadium Finance corner. Fraser, he's going upstairs. See whether he can build up that momentum. This class is all about momentum. Johnson drifts out a little bit off the pole line. Fraser had a bit of a look. Nothing was going to work for him. We've lost the 32 of Carey to the infield, and Liam Astle also just drifted back a little. But Craig Cox, he's got the ears pinned back, and we've gone yellow. Must be something left on the track. Potentially a chain would be my guess. The way the 32 car ground to a hold on the infield. Well, this is going to shuffle the cards up somewhat. It's going to be very vital this start. Is Coxie going to hang on?
Well, I hope he does. He's my pick tonight, but I think Brett Booth is going to throw a suicide move in on the corner. He did it before on that 23D car. So Boothie's got the bit between his teeth, and let's see if he can reel in that very fast 5C of Craig Cox.
Yeah, Nathan Astle will be happy with that too, because he got to shunt it out, and he just Liam Astle, he just about collected the wall out here. He's lost quite a bit of ground, so he'll be happy to get that restart in behind the field again.
Okay, we've been clearing the track of some debris, like a NASCAR race. Okay, Coxie on the outside, Brett Booth. Two more cunning race car drivers I don't think you'll find.
Well, I tell you what, AJ, I'm watching that Jaden Fraser, the 36i. We've seen him all night just build that momentum up. He goes high, wide and handsome, and he gets it a bit wrong from time to time, but he may have a real lick at Coxie in the first couple of corners.
Yeah, you can see that things are just starting to come into play already. I think Coxie backs himself with the acceleration stakes. He could just about get out and push them faster than they're going. Booth is up to this challenge. Here we go. The trigger's been pulled. Booth got caught napping. Here comes Jaden Fraser. Craig Cox leads him down the back straight past the value cars, warehouse, grandstand through Stadium Finance corner. So it's Craig Cox in the import parts specialist machine leading the way. Jaden Fraser just gets a little bit of a boggle on going through a hole at the entry to turns 1 and 2. That may just be the relief that Craig Cox needed. Brett Booth faded back to third spot, but he's got Glenn Johnson and Harry McIntyre in hot pursuit. Laps counting down. It'll be 6 to go next time across the line. So it's Craig Cox leading the charge. Jaden Fraser in second. Never more than a couple of car lengths between them as they go through those corners. But I think Cox has got the straightaway speed on him. Booth, well, you've got to say he's firmly entrenched in that third position. 4 laps to go. Next time they go past the Mag and Turbo warehouse pit gates. And Craig Cox could be on his way to Canterbury Championship glory. Jaden Fraser just drifted back somewhat. And Booth, he's a similar distance behind Fraser to what Fraser concedes to Craig Cox. 2 to go next time across the line. Key battle now going on for 4th and 5th. The only ones that remember that in the championship race are those that got it. White flag coming out with Craig Cox 400 metres away from Canterbury Championship, winning the modified sprint, brought to us by Veggies Direct. Jaden Fraser faded a little in the latter stages of this race. No one had anything for Coxie. That's another feature win for Craig Cox. Jaden Fraser in second. Third place does go to Brett Booth from Glenn Johnson, with Liam Astle fast finishing up into that 5th position. No doubt about your man though, Craig. Craig Cox taking out the win.
Yeah, congratulations, Coxie. You've taken out another feature win here, but more importantly, you've taken out the Canterbury Championship. And as fast as Jaden Fraser was, he couldn't catch you, mate. You were lapping pretty well, 14.7s, 14.8s, and it was impossible to catch you. So congratulations to Craig Cox. He's now our Canterbury champion for the modified sprints. There you go, Ruapuna. Coxie getting out absolutely exhausted. He drove the best race tonight and a good celebration. And our newly crowned Canterbury champion modified sprint driver. So we'll catch up with Brendan Daly, see what Coxie's got to say down there.
Well done, Coxie. How did that feel going into that race? You had to work for it at the beginning there, so tell me what you were thinking heading into that.
I was a bit nervous heading into it. We had car issues in the first race, so didn't really know how it was going to pan out, but no, we seemed to get it there. Cheers to yourself, Avon, for lending us the shock, which was the problems we had in the first